Hi guys, Koukun here, coming at you with another video about real estate investing. In today's video, we're going to talk about the requirements to make a legal secondary suite or a legal basement apartment. So follow me as we go into the basement. So here we are in the basement of my listing here in Niagara Falls. So this is a large 3-bedroom, 1,000 square foot detached bungalow. And as you can see, the basement is relatively unfinished, which is actually perfect when it comes to looking for properties where you're looking to put in a basement apartment. So when it comes to the requirements to make a legal basement apartment, there are two important factors to consider. One is fire code, making sure it's safe to stay in the basement from a fire perspective, and the other is to follow Ontario building code. So one of the aspects of fire code is having 2 points of egress, meaning 2 points of exit from the basement in the case of a fire. As you could see, when we came down the apartment, we came down this set of stairs where there's a door at the end. So this is the first point of egress. And the second point of egress is we'll need to make one of the windows in this apartment bigger, such that it's big enough for a adult to climb out of it. And the size that we're looking at is about 4 square feet in size in order for it to be big enough for a person to walk out of it. So that's from an egress point of view. The second is fire separation. So it's important that both apartments, the main floor apartment and the basement apartment, have adequate fire separation between them so that if a fire starts in one unit, there's a certain amount of time that passes before the fire spreads into the rest of the home. The way this is done is in the joist cavities, between the joists, we put in something called Roxol Safe and Sound. It's a fire dampener where you put it in there and it slows the spread of fire. And we also put a special type of fire-rated drywall. It's called Type X 5/8 drywall, where it's a little bit thicker than normal drywall and it's more fire resistant, meaning it takes longer time for it to burn in the case of a fire. So that's done to create fire separation between the units. And the next is it's important to have interconnected smoke detectors between the units such that if there's a fire in one of the units, the alarm goes off in both units so that both tenants are notified to exit the property right away. So those are the three main points for from a fire code perspective. The other is when it comes to the Ontario building code. So one of the points to keep in mind for the Ontario building code is that you need to have adequate ceiling height. So with the code in Ontario right now is you need to have at least 6'5" throughout the basement apartments. Now in this case, I'm 6'3", and you can see this is quite a bit higher. So it's actually as close to 7 feet tall, which is amazing for a basement apartment. And even if you look over here, under the ductwork, this is 6'5". So even under the lowest point in the ceiling in the basement, we still have adequate ceiling height, which is great. Now, some municipalities, they will actually allow you to have as low as 6'1" under ductworks and beams, but those are specific cities. You have to make sure that you're doing the conversion or putting in a basement apartment in those cities in order to get those benefits. So in the next video I'm going to be talking about which are the cities that I'm focusing on when I help my clients buy investment properties where they're putting in basement apartments, and which cities I avoid, because some cities are much easier to deal with than others. So it's important to make sure that you choose the right city for this type of strategy. So if you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you're interested in finding out more information like this, I have a weekly email that I send out to my clients. So there's a link in the description below if you want to fill in your details. You can get added to that list. So every week I'll be sending out more content like this, potential properties that are available for sale that are good investment opportunities. Any of my own listings, I always send it out to my clients first, so you have first dibs. And just a lot of good content. So if this is of interest to you, if you live in the Greater Toronto area and if you want more information, the link is in the description below. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below in the comments. I always look through the comments, and if there's anything that I can provide, any answers I can give, I always try to do so. So As always, thanks for watching this video, and in the next video, again, I'll be talking about which cities that I'm focusing on in terms of implementing this strategy and which cities that I make sure to avoid. So stay tuned for that.